Welcome back, Busy Bees. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through speed cleaning your kitchen. This is not a deep clean by any means, but if you want to get your kitchen under control fast and move on to something else, this episode is for you. For those of you who are new to the show, my name's Ronnie, and you're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I talk you through cleaning your house. Let's get right into the episode. It's time to gear up for our cleaning session. Maybe you need to get your house smelling fresh. This could mean taking out your kitchen trash. That's almost always the way I start when I'm cleaning my kitchen, because you got to take out the trash and reline it. You're going to be tossing things while cleaning the kitchen. So that's an important first step. If people haven't been running the garbage disposal, you may want to run your garbage disposal. And then, of course, you may want to gather up dishes from around the house. Now, if you're not feeling presentable or ready for the day, or you want to get shoes on because there are crumbs on your kitchen floor, go ahead and pause the episode and do that. But I'm getting straight to the point in this episode because I want you to get your kitchen clean in 20 minutes as promised, for those of you who showed up already ready to clean. But I understand if you need to pause and take care of some other things. Now's the time to do that. The first thing I want you to do, other than taking out your trash and relining it, is gathering up any dishes from around the house. And by dishes, I mean anything and everything that you're going to wash along with your dishes. Okay, this could be a mug on the nightstand, a glass on the ledge around your master bathtub, or it could be a forgotten cereal bowl and spoon in a teenager's room. I don't know what you're dealing with today, but you want to make sure that you've brought everything to the kitchen so that nothing goes unwashed. And it's not going to take long. Just be a busy little bee buzzing around your house and get that stuff to the kitchen. This is going to be a fast-paced episode. If that stresses you out, then just click on a different episode, because most of my episodes I'm talking slowly and it's a calm, relaxing talk through. But I've had lots of caffeine this morning, and this is going to be a fast-paced speed clean talk through. So if you're up for it, be buzzing around right now gathering up those dishes, okay? Once you have everything to the sink area, I want you to take care of the difficult items first, meaning those items that need to soak. Maybe you have a pot or a pan that needs to soak, or even a glass or a mug that has a ring around the bottom from your coffee, milk, chocolate, whatever. Let's get all these items that need a pre-soak. Let's get those soaking right now. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was reheating some cheese dip that my husband had made, and in typical me fashion, I forgot about it. I didn't set a timer, and I forgot about it in the oven, and he's like, "Oh no, that dip." So I ran in the kitchen. Fortunately, it was not burnt, meaning it wasn't blackened or anything, but we were reheating something in the same dish. If you've been listening a while, you know I don't advise doing that. But it was in the same dish it had originally been heated up in. So it was like dark brown, dried on cheese around the edges. It was still edible, but it was going to be a son of a gun to clean, if you know what I mean. So I just told him, I said, okay, I didn't burn it, but this pan is going to need some serious soaking. I'll probably have to drop a dishwasher pot in the pan or something and soak it possibly overnight. I try to not let things carry over overnight, but it happens sometimes. The important thing is that you're not getting into a cycle of always having something perpetually soaking, because usually things only need to soak for an hour or so, or less, often much less. Get those items soaking at the beginning of your cleaning session. The next thing you're going to do is empty your drying rack and dishwasher. And don't be tempted to skip that step. You might be thinking, that's okay, there are only a few things in the drying rack, I can pile more on. Most stuff's going in the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. And I realize some of you are hand washing. Don't be tempted to skip that important step of getting all your clean stuff put away. Obviously, if you're going to do if you're going to load the dishwasher, it's going to be an empty reload and run. But The drying rack needs to be emptied too. And your drying rack might be a drying pad or a towel that you have laid out. Okay, we're putting away all the clean dishes before we start loading the dishwasher or start that first sink load. Okay, and remember, your difficult items are soaking. We're going to get back to those. We're going to talk about those later. So once you've gotten your difficult items soaking and you've put away all your clean dishes, you're going to want to either load the dishwasher or start that first sink load if you're 100% hand washing. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we're going to do a little bit of straightening. So for the next couple of minutes, you're going to be starting on your dishes, whatever that means for you. It could mean that you're pre-rinsing things under running water with a scrub brush or an abrasive sponge and placing them into the dishwasher. This is often your glasses, your cups, your mugs, what I call the small stuff, your silverware, your bowls. And I even put spatulas, cooking spatulas in the top rack of the dishwasher. Just be strategic in how you place those and then get that dishwasher running. You might be hand washing, in which case I would pre-rinse all of the silverware and maybe a few glasses, but you don't want so many that they're banging around in there breaking or anything like that. And when I'm hand washing, I like to get the water super hot so that the items are soaking while that water cools down slightly to a comfortable level for me to stick my hands in. So once you've loaded the dishwasher and then started the first sink load, while the dishwasher is running or that first sink load is doing its soak after the pre-rinse, you're going to straighten up your kitchen. So you're going to turn your attention to the rest of the kitchen and you're going to start straightening up. Okay. I'm talking about clearing clutter off of your kitchen islands, countertops, kitchen table. It could be trash that you need to throw away. It could be items that just need to be relocated to another room. It could be appliances that you don't use very often because you want to streamline your counter space. It's going to make it easier to clean when you don't have so many obstacles, and people are going to keep it cleaner. It's a psychological thing. Less is more. You want to go minimalist with your kitchen countertops. This is not a major decluttering session or anything. It's just quickly removing items. Maybe you don't need to have that KitchenAid mixer on display to keep up with the Joneses when you only use it once every 3 months. Be honest with yourself. If you haven't been using your bread maker, your Instant Pot, your crock pot, insert appliance here, let's get that put away for a while. You still have it, but it doesn't need to just be a constant obstacle. Okay, so let's clear off your countertops and remove anything that doesn't belong. And let's not get used to items just becoming part of the decor that are not everyday items. And your everyday appliances can change over time, just depending on what kind of phase you're in. Like there was a time when I was just obsessed with baking bread. It is one of my hobbies, but it's not an everyday thing for me right now. So I'm honest with myself and I have another place where I store that. I bring it out when I'm going to use it. Everyday items are a toaster, just because it's inconvenient to be moving the toaster around due to crumbs and stuff. The toaster stays out and coffee makers stay out. Pretty much every other appliance is put away. Like we don't use the blender every day. We don't use the crock pot every day. Air fryer, we don't use that every day. All of these items need to have a place other than on your countertop unless you're literally using them every day. And I feel like the constants for everyday items are the toaster and the Keurig. But then that third item varies. Are we in a blender phase? Are we in a bread making phase? Are we in an Instant Pot phase? Let's clear that clutter off. Okay. Now, I know you need to wipe down your countertops and everything, but we're going to do that closer to the end. I just wanted you to remove the visual clutter and streamline it so that you don't have so many obstacles after your dishes are done. So now what you're going to do is just continue working on dishes, whatever that means for you, because you're in different cycles of dishes. I mean, some of you have more than one sink load. Some of you put everything in the dishwasher except those pans that were soaking. Some of you are doing one sink load after another. If you're like me, when you're hand washing, you like to change the water constantly. We're not using nasty water to just keep washing stuff, obviously. So I'm not sure what stage you're in, but I'm going to give you a few more minutes to do dishes, and then we're going to wipe down the upper surfaces and then end with a sweep and at least a spot mop of the floor. In case you're new to the show, I'm on a serious kick where I try to separate the act of putting away clean dishes from the act of washing dishes. Meaning, when I go in to wash dishes, I don't want to have clean stuff to put away. And obviously in this session, I assumed that you did. But bonus points if your clean stuff was put away in the morning and you're listening to this episode another time of day and you were able to just dive in and start washing your dishes. It's such a game changer for me, and different things resonate with different people. Some of the tips that I give you will work for you and some of them won't, because we all think differently and have different lifestyles, routines, family dynamics. There are so many differences, but a kitchen episode wouldn't be complete without me saying that I like to put away my clean dishes in the morning while my coffee's brewing. And I'm talking about emptying the drying rack and dishwasher to set the stage for a day where people are cleaning as they go in the kitchen. So if you're facing a disaster right now, that could help you moving forward if you try to implement that new habit. This show isn't about just preaching to you that you need to change your habits. It's about getting you through these tough cleaning sessions where you didn't do all the right things, but also giving you tools to make things easier on yourself in the future. Some people mistakenly think like I'm really into cleaning. No, I just wanted a show like this for myself and ended up making one because I saw a need there. I wanted something to get me through those mundane household chores. So once you've gotten your dishes done, maybe you need a couple more minutes for that, but once you've gotten it done, you're going to grab your favorite cleaning spray, or if you don't have an appropriate spray to wipe down your cabinets and countertops, you can always just use a clean dish rag with hot soapy water, just dish soap on it, and wring it out and wipe things down with that. If you're worried about your wood, you can dry it immediately afterward, or maybe you have a dedicated product that's great for spraying your wooden cabinets. But a lot of times I like to just spray my upper cabinets, wipe them down, and then get a different product that I use on my granite countertops, and then yet another product that I use on my cooktop that's a little stronger. And you might also have a stainless steel cleaner for spraying the fronts of your appliances, but I often just use a glass and surface cleaner or a glass cleaner when I'm spraying and wiping down the front of my refrigerator. And part of it is because some of these large appliances have stainless steel and glass. The front of the microwave, the front of the oven, the dishwasher. But never use the lack of cleaning supplies as an excuse, because you can use a rag with just dish soap. Use what you have on hand if you don't have all the perfect products. Wipe those cabinet fronts. Just get spray happy, spray down your kitchen counters and stovetop and wipe these surfaces down. And of course, you might not have a glass cooktop. You might need to remove the burners to properly clean in there. I'll wait. I'm going to give you time to do that. So be working on that. But basically, cleaning the kitchen involves picking up and putting away items that don't belong, and that includes putting away your clean dishes that have already dried. And then, of course, gathering up the dishes, putting them in the sink/dishwasher or next to the sink if you're like me and you don't like to pile all your breakable glasses into the sink. If you have a dishwasher, load it. If you don't, wash everything by hand, or if you're like me, do a combination of both. I'll admit that on some days I will load the dishwasher, set a timer, go do something else, and come back and reboot the dishwasher. But I caution against that. It's usually best to just hand wash whatever's remaining because you want to get down to dish zero after every meal if possible, but especially by the end of the day. Okay? No judgment here if you're not doing that and you've always got something perpetually soaking, but I want to help you change that. So have the goal of getting down to dish zero at the end of the day. Sometimes the procrastination with something soaking can be a problem. Okay. Now, for those of you who did get something soaking at the beginning of this session, unless it's like that cheese dip that's just double baked on, you can probably finish washing it at this point. It doesn't always take that long to soak things unless there's a mistake where you burnt something on or baked something on. So by now you've probably washed your dishes. Now scrub those items that you left soaking if it applies. Okay. Otherwise, just continue with cleaning the surfaces of your kitchen from the top down. Okay. This is not a deep cleaning episode, or I'd talk about the top of your cabinets. I'd talk about the top of your refrigerator. I'd talk about scrubbing switch plates, baseboards, the wall behind your countertop, all the things. But this is just an everyday speed clean where you do dishes, you scrub you wipe down your cabinets because they might have fingerprints on them. You clean the front of your large appliances and you wipe down the counters. And of course, those small appliances that you're keeping on your countertop, you wipe those down in the same step that you're wiping the counters, and you pick them up, you wipe under them. Okay, your toaster, your coffee maker, your other favorite appliance. And then you move down to your lower cabinets and you wipe those down. And then once you've scrubbed those items that you left soaking, it's time to detail your sink. Scrub out your sink, shine that up, especially the faucet, the area behind the faucet. That can be a harbor for germs. And it's going to feel good to just be able to see your sink and not have like a couple inches of water in it and something soaking. And bonus, if you have teenagers, they're going to be more likely to help you with the dishes when they don't have to stick their hand in some yucky water to pull the plug. Like a lot of people have an aversion to that. They gross out. I mean, you can tell them to use tongs or whatever, but better yet, don't leave yucky water. When I talk about soaking things, I'm not usually talking about having them submerged in the sink. I'm talking about having those items sitting on the counter full of the hot soapy water, because then you can just dump it and nobody's sticking their hand in the gross water like they just don't want to do. So let's deal with those items that we're soaking. No judgment here if there's something that you have to leave overnight, but you can use things like crock pot liners. You can use disposable aluminum containers. If your biggest struggle in the kitchen is the fact that you have things perpetually soaking, there are ways to prevent that. For example, you can move your food into a serving dish right away after dinner and then clean that pan while it's still hot. Okay? You can avoid reheating things in the same casserole dish. You can buy disposable items. Sometimes you've got to ask yourself, what's your time worth? Okay? And I'm all for being frugal and as frugal as possible. I'm all for that. But at the same time, there are certain things that I will spend money on that are just game changers for me. Like I love the disposable disinfecting wipes. I love the pre-moistened mop pads that go on the Swiffer, and I also use them to clean certain things by hand. Love those. It's worth it to me. But different people spend money in different areas. And it's so funny, like we'll look at somebody and we'll be like, I can't believe they spend money on that. But then there's something that we're spending money on that they can't believe. That's just the way it is. And most cleaning lists have a step of drying and putting away hand wash dishes. Obviously, the things in the dishwasher are not ready to put away yet, so that's not on these checklists. And that could be a thing. That is another way to separate the act of putting away your clean dishes from the next time you have to do dishes, so you don't have to put clean stuff away and then wash. And it's always like a whole thing. One way is what I said, putting away your clean stuff in the morning if you're just team air dry. But another thing you could do if you want to just get it all done while you're in the kitchen is to dry those items and put them away. Like you'd see in a 1950s or 1960s sitcom. One person's washing, one person's drying. There's something to be said for that. I just air dry with a drying rack. So does my husband. That's the way his mom did it. And my mom let things air dry on a towel. So we're just not like a dry the dishes type of family. But that's definitely a valid way to separate the putting away from the washing and help you avoid overwhelm where you have to do it all at once. Once you've cleaned your upper cabinets, your countertop, stovetop, appliance fronts, you've done your dishes, you've cleaned out your sink, the last step is to sweep the kitchen floor and maybe do a quick spot mop of any sticky areas. Since this isn't a deep clean, I'm not expecting you to thoroughly mop your floor, but sometimes spot mopping can make a huge difference. Just remember, cleaning is not an all or nothing proposition. Sometimes good enough is okay. And yes, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing right. But is it doing a job right when you're not prioritizing your time, when you're hyper focusing on certain things and you're not looking at the bigger picture? No, absolutely not. So realize that doing something right means prioritizing your time and knowing when good enough is good enough. I hope you got a lot done during the speed cleaning session. Special thanks to my financial supporters who support the show on Patreon or through an Apple Podcast subscription or the Spreaker Supporter Club. And I'll put all the links in the episode notes to make it easy for you to sign up for these additional bonus episodes. If you're not able to support the show financially and unlock bonus episodes, that's okay. Just listening to the show helps. Be sure to click follow, the plus sign, or subscribe, whichever applies on whichever platform you're listening on. But when you go the extra mile and pay for bonus episodes, that helps me tremendously. But most of all, just keep listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, happy cleaning. I'll talk to you soon.